Boom. Who's the man? Who's the man right there, Nick?
You are. You're not muted either this time. You're attaboy.
Yep, not muted. Nick, you are a wonderful guy. Glad that you were with us for 2 minutes. And we're going to put this bad boy right in there. Drop in out. Thank you. All right. Hold on. 1 second. Let's mute ourselves, please. In the middle, right in the middle of the guitar solo. Had to do it, though. Had to do it.
Oh, my.
I love it how it says that they're unable to connect due to a network error. And they kick Justin and Andy out.
They kicked us out? Pause record. I don't know.
I'm here.
Who knows?
See?
Anyway, I could see Adam. I could see Nick. I could see everybody. Can you all see us?
Yeah.
Are we on, people?
I'm
Talk
out.
to me. Kim said we're on. Adam, I think you got kicked out. I don't think we did.
Adam got kicked out. He's out again.
Yeah, Adam's out again. So I wouldn't worry about Adam Laveau having a lot to say tonight. Good thing we have Christy Kate in the house. The better, prettier version of Adam. Although he's a pretty.
He's
all right. So today, let's talk a little bit. Andy, are you all right? Oh, there it is. There it is.
Thanks, Jorge.
So we had the intro of Prince because the sad news was there. Prince is no longer with us. I know Andy was very upset, but did you get to the Prince thing at Shape America?
I didn't get to the event. I was rocking my Purple Rain T-shirt. I'm pleased to say that I was there. At least I went there. I appreciate that Joe McCarthy was giving me updates on the day. I didn't want to believe what I heard. Obviously, it's true. It took me at least 24 hours to listen to his music, but I've been just plowing through the back catalog, and there's a lot of it.
All right. Yes, I was rocking some Pandora, some Spotify, a couple YouTube playlists that I'm getting back up. Just forget how great of a guitarist he is. I always forget about that. But anyway, so today, what are we doing here? What are we all talking about? But first, before we get to that, let's go with who are we? Who is this guy who looks like he could be with the flock of seagulls? Adam, start us up.
This was like the first I'd ever heard of this band. So you're obviously showing your age, Justin. So come on. All right. My name's Adam Laveau. I'm a AD and K through 12P teacher here in the Middle East. And lucky to be with you guys as it's 5:30 in the morning. So enjoy my company. That's all I can say.
It's good to have you here, mate. I'll go next then. So Andy Milne, I'm the other Brit. Born in London, but now living out here in Chicago. Rocking the Black Hawks sweater. We're 2-2 against the Blues. Next one to score wins, definitely.
Who knew English people even knew what hockey was? Did you know anything about hockey before?
No, it's in my notes. It's in my notes.
Whoa. Yo, whoa. No, we know about field hockey. We don't know about that thing.
Yeah, well, one you're wearing skirts, the other you're not. All
Yeah.
right. And who is over?
All right. So I am Nick Emlich. I'm a K-6 health and phys ed teacher in York, Pennsylvania. And yeah, ready for round 2. Round 1 was a blast, and I think we're going to have some good stuff for everybody tonight.
Absolutely. And I go last because I am the least. My name's Justin Schleider. I'm a physical education, technology, phys ed chairperson, health chairperson of a department of 1 in central New Jersey. Yeah, I write that sometimes. I'll be like, I'm a physical education department chair. They don't know. Nobody has a clue how many people are in my department. I make all the big decisions. Budget, right here. What we're going to do, curriculum, all of it. So anyway, we are all here to celebrate the life of Tupac.
Whoa. Hang on.
Yes.
I've been reading all about this technology stuff, but this is what I got. I got all this. Is that right? Is that what we're looking at today?
That's what we're here about. That's why we brought Christy Kane. That's the whole deal.
The Machiavelli.
That is it right there. I mean,
We are moving on. We are moving on. See DC TV? This is how we bring it. We are going to go with a little thing called the TPACK. So we are going to look at how technology and the classroom intersect. So we are going to say goodbye to Mr. Enlick. It was great while he was here. He's a fantastic fella. And we are going to go over and watch a quick little video. Then we're going to bring in the greatest lady I know when it comes to technology, my go-to, Christy Kate. So I am going to do this out. Let's mute.
What is teaching? Let's start with content knowledge. This is the information on the subjects we teach. It includes disciplines such as mathematics, science, art, and music. But being an expert in a field does not necessarily equate to being a good teacher. We also need pedagogical knowledge, which is the art of teaching. It includes things such as taking into consideration learning styles, differentiating instruction, creating classroom environment, and assessment practices. Basically, it's your philosophy of education. Teachers also need technological knowledge, which is the teaching tools. Today, most people's immediate thoughts are of modern technologies. However, it can be as simple as
If I didn't unmute, see, but I have to do that every episode, at least once. Because I don't want the feedback from the video. Anyway, let's go. Anyway, getting back. Yeah, there's feedback now. Probably because Nick's back in here.
it was before I came back in.
Christy Kate, I'm going to kick somebody out. You know what? I think I'm going to kick you. You want to get kicked out, Andy? All right, we're going to kick Andy out and see you later. Thank you. And Christy Kate, come call in. Christy Kate, is an expert in the field of technology. I am going to let her introduce herself. Just know that when I have the questions, this is the lady I go to. So before we start, Christy Kate, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do in social media.
I am a digital innovation consultant, which is just a really fancy title that allows me to do whatever I need to do to help a teacher. I work for 42 school districts in West Texas. And those 42 school districts range in size from about 17,000 students is my largest district to my smallest district, which pre-K through 12th grade has 92 students. In fact, they only have one kid in the 5th grade this year. And so we have about 150-mile radius of West Texas land that out in the middle of the ranches and the oil fields and a few windmills here and there. There are kids that really want to learn a whole lot and teachers that really want to teach to the best of their abilities. And you asked about TPACK earlier in one of our Voxer groups. And it's interesting because I think there's way too many acronyms in education. And so I would never have coined the acronym, and I don't ever present that to a teacher in any shape, form, or fashion. But what I love about it is that it allows me to quickly assess a teacher that needs assistance with what are their strengths and weaknesses. So I can watch a teacher, I can listen to a teacher's phone call, I can read a teacher's email, and it doesn't take long to see, do they know their content? Do they know what they're teaching? Is that the problem? Do they actually know how to teach? Do they have any strategies that they can use in the classroom setting? Or do they just need technology assistance, need a tool, need to know something? And I think a lot of times instructional tech and ed tech coaches get pigeonholed into this person knows tools and they can help me with tools. And most of us were educators first and foremost, and people forget that many of us are good with technology tools because we were in the classroom and embraced the content and embraced a type of strategy. And I think a lot of the newer strategies in our classrooms today operate really well because of the technology tools, like PBL and flipped classroom and flat classroom and those type of makerspace movements and things like that, and instruction in the classroom really are pivotal around something that involves technology. And so helping a teacher find their sweet spot is what I really like about the concept of TPACK.
Nice. Now, Adam Laveau, I know you have a couple questions, and you're one of the big advocates for where's the pedagogy in all this. You know, we talk about technology. A lot of us love technology, but where's the pedagogy? What do you have to ask for Christy Kate?
Yes, Jenny, I said flat. I can hear Jenny. I can't hear Adam right now.
That's
Or I
because
can see
nobody
Jenny.
can hear Adam. Nobody.
Okay, good. So Jenny said, did I say flat classroom? In the flat classroom, there was a flat classroom project years ago, but the concept of globally being connected.
All right.
When I say a flat classroom, that's what I'm talking about. I'm listening, Nick.
All right. So do you see, because there's a lot of different models for incorporating technology in different ways. And do you see TPACK as I heard you say it as a means of self-assessment or teacher assessment in their use? Like you said that you like to use it as, or it could be used as a way to measure teachers' strengths and weaknesses in different areas. Is it mostly an assessment type of piece to use, or are there other ways that you can use it? And I guess I'm saying, is it more, can it be a self-assessment, or like you said, you use it to help assess other teachers that you work with?
I think it can be formative and it could be summative all at the same time. And it can be a model to work towards. For me, with my job, what I really, really liked about it, like SAMR. I know Justin's a big fan of SAMR, and I understand SAMR, I get SAMR. But when I see a teacher that's presented with it, the first thing they'll say is another acronym. I mean, they deal with so many acronyms in their world, but they also will see it as a continuum that they have to go through step 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and 4 must be the best and I need to remain at 4. Even if you sit there and explain to them that never would a classroom need to be at 4, and sometimes substitution is where you need to be in a classroom, they don't get that moment. And what I like about the overarching theme of TPACK is, for some reason, there's a target in the center. There's that moment of things crossing over. And just because I'm in different parts of the target seems to be a little more, it's okay to be vulnerable with that moment for teachers. If they know they're strong in their content, or they know that they're strong in being able to engage kids, they feel like there's this moment of being patted on the back and I can do this. I just need to work on a couple of other areas. Because the whole concept is you have a strength somewhere, let's find your strength and then figure out where we need to attack your weakness.
Now, do you find that most teachers' content knowledge is pretty solid? Like, where do you see the biggest weakness? Is it in technology or is it in pedagogy? Where do you see it?
I see pedagogy as probably my favorite weakness to look at, because I feel like pedagogy is something that can be modeled, that can be explained and mentored, and that if sometimes people will witness things, that's a bright light moment for them. I do see a lot of people that don't get content, and in Texas, we're our own country. We think we're our own country, and in Texas, we like the TEKS. We don't use Common Core, but there are a lot of TEKS, and I quickly can see that there are teachers that don't know their state standards, that they don't know what they have to teach. They just know what's in the book, and they try to teach through the book. And when that's the issue, that can be the reason why their Chromebook initiative failed. Well, okay, you didn't even know your content standards, and we need to always start with the standards. So I feel like the easiest is the technology piece, because I can find tools all day long, and I can find somebody to train on a tool, and I can find somebody to try out a tool. But the most fun is the pedagogy. I see way too much not knowing the content.
Christy, if I can jump in, I know that the TPACK model initially came around in 2006. Now, you just said that you see that the technology piece is often the strongest. Do you think that is just representative of the kids that are coming out of college now, whereas perhaps in 2006 that might not necessarily have been the case? And then I kind of want to add a second part to that as well. I wonder if the TPACK would also be of benefit to perhaps some of the more aged professors whose pedagogy is strong, their content is strong, but they don't have the technological, the knowledge. So maybe this would be a great lens for them to look at and reflect upon their own, their own stuff.
Andy, I think that's the gut easy answer to say it's because that they're the young kids coming out of college and they've had more technology. However, I think it also has to do with the fact that it's now become commonplace that the teacher next door to you is going to embrace something, or all of a sudden you're in a new classroom or you've been moved and everybody has a Promethean board in this room. I'm expected to at least use it like a projector. And so they all have email. Oh, and I'm required to have a web page. And so it's becoming an expectation for there to be some type of technology. If everything has to be in Google Classroom, then I'm going to, whether I want to or not, begrudgingly learn how to make an assignment because that's the expectation. So I think that there's a twofold moment. Yes, there are kids that are not afraid to press a button and click anymore. And so that helps. But now the expectation since 2006, we're going on 10 years, so there's an expectation of some type of technology being utilized.
Thank you.
I've never heard of this model, I'll be honest with you. This was the first I've heard of it. I've heard of the SAMR model. How many different models are there out there? I don't know, because I've never heard of this. I just get pushed all the time, SAMR. And I was really intrigued, reading up on this. So I don't know. I don't know how many other people out there have heard of this. So is this all right? Did it only originate in 2006? Is it very still at the early stages, or is this something that we need to be pushing more as advocates for technology?
2006 is probably about the time that I became familiar with it. And I can tell you, I looked at it and I put it to the side and started just trying to focus on my job. Same thing with SAMR. I kind of looked at it and went, yay, wonderful. But every classroom, every teacher, every district is going to have something different, and I'll come back and gauge it. That's why I like to go back and use it to say, okay, when I'm making a plan and to work with a teacher or to work with a classroom or to work with a whole campus or to work with a whole district, what do I need to help them embrace? Let's look at their strengths. Let's look at their weaknesses, and having them to be able to identify that. Like I say, back to that teacher who can say, I know my content. I may not know the technology, but I know my content. There's that ownership of, I'm not the least of these. If that kid over there knows all the technology, but guess what? They've only been teaching for 6 months now, and they don't necessarily know all the strategies and all the discipline things that they might need to know, or all of the things that they need to know with their content. So I don't know. That's why I like to use it without having to say, hey, this is a TPACK model. Where are you on the TPACK?
There's at least 2 more. We're going to talk about the TPACK method coming up. These were all in Eric Schenniger's newest book. So that's where I first heard about TPACK. And I think Sarah Thomas was talking about it. There was a bunch of people talking, but I heard that in his book. I read that. And he's actually not even a huge fan of this either. SAMR is very ambiguous with its levels. I mean, one piece of tech could be all 4 levels of SAMR. So SAMR's kind of fallen to the wayside a little bit. And I think this TPACK method is going to be one that's going to be rising.
And I think if you can take all of these models and use them when you need it, to just have frames of reference. They are another tool in your toolbox as well.
Yeah, I agree, Christy. I hadn't heard of this, like Adam. I hadn't heard of it, but I like it because I like to reflect, and because I want to drive my practice forward. It just gave me another lens to look at. I think my biggest takeaway was the phrase, when you have the overlapping circles, to have this concept of a sweet spot, and to always try and hit all 3 levels to the best of your abilities. And I know that sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'll choose tech because it's the new shiny tool, and maybe I'm not using it for the right moment. But by looking at my teaching through the TPACK model, it shows me just how far off that sweet spot I am. So I'll continue to use it as a framework.
And I can tell you this, almost without fail, when I have a teacher who says, man, that lesson was awesome, the kids loved it, everything went well, and I had so much fun myself, and all of these great things are happening, they've hit their sweet spot. Guaranteed. I haven't found a single teacher who at that moment can't say, yep, they knew their pedagogy, it was good and spot on. They knew their content at that moment, and those tech tools, they felt really, really confident in how they were using them. So there you go.
Do you also think, though, that, so for example, just from what I've heard and what I'm watching today, like, if you look at the SAMR model, some teachers can sometimes feel a little bit, I'm only down here at the moment and I need to be up there. Whereas if you look at the TPACK model, okay, I might be over here, but I'm getting closer towards this sweet spot in the middle, rather than feeling, I'm at the bottom, I'm no good. Like a bit like what happens in some PE lessons, etc. So where we should be looking for trying to get kids to aim for that next level, but sometimes kids don't want to. If you're always telling them they're down here, they're always going to be down there. Whereas if you're telling kids that they're up here, they're always going to be up there.
Good point. Good point. Other questions?
Does anyone in the audience have anyone else? Any other questions they want to write in? If not, in the next 10 seconds, we are going to let Christy Kate go. Again, thank you so much. This is my resident tech expert. If you have questions, she's always willing to help.
That I will do.
Is a plethora. Yeah, I'm going to go on the angle. Is a plethora. No, Adam, wrong way. Again, he was driving the wrong side of the road, pointing the wrong way.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you.
Bye.
Give you a couple more of these, and woo! All right. So, any last thoughts on the TPACK? Anything? Andy, I know you and I had a conversation earlier about you were thinking with principal or with college professors that their content is going to be solid. You would hope their pedagogy is solid, yet their technology is going to be really weak. Would this work for them?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. You know, I would hate to think that there are kids in college and a professor saying, "All right, guys, we've heard about plickers. Let's teach you about plickers," without necessarily showing you when is the most appropriate time to use it. I mean, plickers doesn't work for me. I'm in a one-to-one environment, so I've never pushed the plickers. I've never pushed the class dojo because I don't think it works with my high school kids. Now, I could try that, that technology because, like I said, it's new and shiny, but then it's not the most appropriate use. So it's off my sweet spot. I'm going to keep coming back to sweet spot. That might be my 2 words of the year next year. Hashtag sweet spot.
All right, love it, Nick. You just came back. Any final TPACK things?
First of all, I'm extremely glad you got Christy Kate to jump in, because I think if the four of us tried to stumble around this, it would have been a disaster, absolute disaster. So many props to Miss Christy Kate for stopping in. She nailed it. So
She hit the sweet spot.
Yeah,
That was the sweet spot of our show right there. Everyone, you can stop watching. It's all downhill from there. Absolutely. Anytime we can bring in an expert who knows what she's talking about or he's talking about. Fabulous.
Jenny, I'm in that dingy basement, so this is the best light I got. Sorry.
Nice. So I think, Nicholas, you have something to show us. So I am going to bounce. And are you ready to go?
I believe I am. Give me a second here. I'll tell you when I'm exactly ready. All right. So for this week's TED Talk, I have a little excerpt from Astro Teller, talking a little bit about technology, just to kind of fit with our theme here a little bit. So let's get this dropped in here. And it doesn't want to drop the link, or does it? Here we go.
In 1962, at Rice University, JFK told the country about a dream he had. A dream to put a person on the moon by the end of the decade, the eponymous moonshot.
Alrighty, so ran a little long there, but I watched this for the first time last week, and really kind of caught my attention. The rest of it's just amazing in how they work. A lot of it's dealing with really accepting and actually pushing failure. Like he was saying, they want to break everything that they do. So he's trying to go through and really push failure. And if they can't break it, that's when they solve these really huge, awesome problems and projects. And I thought the diagram fit nicely with our TPACK today as well. So please watch the rest of the video. I'll drop the link in here for anybody in the live chat to check out as well. It's awesome.
Nice. I love it. Love a good TED Talk to listen to. They also have a podcast, which is pretty cool. All right. Mr. Milne, what do you have? What change in our life should we be making?
Okay, so I talked about my micro actions last week. My micro action last week was to compliment people. And what I have found is that when you compliment people, they like to compliment you back. So as much love as I was handing out, I was receiving it tenfold. So I had a great week complimenting this week. And remember, my micro actions come from the Little Book of You. You can also check out the You app. I'm taking this one. It says drop some emotional baggage. I don't know about you, but as we're coming towards the end of the school year, people are starting to get a bit fractious. There's tempers are fraying. So it says here, give up an old grudge. Forgive a friend or a colleague for something and stop dwelling on an old regret, or apologize to someone you've treated unfairly. Old emotional business weighs you down. They don't call it baggage for nothing. Today, target some old business and forgive, forget, and move forward. Let's just tie up those loose ends and make friends before we head off into the summer vacations. That's my micro action of the week.
Sweet.
Nice.
All right. So now we forgive and forget. Is that what I'm supposed to take away from that? Something like that. All right.
You don't have to forget, but you can forgive.
All right. I forgive Mr. Laveau for being the most one on the chat.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. It's such an early time in the morning. Come on.
Go on, tell him.
You're going to make me blush here.
All right, sir. What do you have to tell us about tech? What is the tool, or what can we do to improve our life, saving time or making something more efficient?
Yeah, I'm all about saving time. So I was listening to Jared Robinson's podcast this week, and if you don't listen to it, this one about automation is brilliant. Definitely listen to it. So my biggest takeaway from it, he spoke about active inbox. That's changed my email massively. So if you've not checked active inbox out, check it. When you get an email in, you can set dates for when it needs to be done by. If you need to follow up with somebody, you can click a button. It's just unreal. It basically turns your inbox into a to-do list.
How much does it cost?
A couple of dollars a month, maybe $3 a month, something like that. You'd have to look into it. I'm not too sure. But
is it good for all email services?
Gmail, I think it's Gmail.
Okay.
I'm a Gmail. I'm a Gaff account, so
if you're not using Gmail, we shouldn't be talking anyway.
And then for me, the biggest takeaway I found was unroll.me. Now, you get all those subscription emails that you subscribe because you have to subscribe to, and it just gives you the long list that is associated with your email, and you can go through every single one and just unsubscribe. Absolutely genius. I never knew about this. It's been my biggest takeaway this week. And what I did like is you can put them to a blog, like a one post. So they'll all come in one email rather than like a digest. So for me, that was a massive takeaway. And then yesterday, I learned something from my co-teacher. Now, I know when you go into Google, you can type in stopwatch, countdown timer, and it'll come straight up. What I didn't know is if you type in metronome, the metronome comes up. So that could be great if you're looking at heart rate, if you're needs a beat for marching, etc. I didn't know that, so that was my little tip that I learned yesterday.
Fantastic.
Marching.
I mean,
Andy Milne. Yes, he said marching.
Who's marching? Are you marching in nowadays?
He's British. Don't all British march down the hall?
I thought he was British, not German.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but he's a redcoat. Redcoats just marched, right in the battle. That's all they did.
Right in. Let's get in line.
Line
There's
up,
something really
shoot me.
bright so we can shoot bullets right at you.
We were doing a little bit of race walking yesterday, and it was perfect.
I mean, you do want to get the high knees up. I'll tell you. Jorge's giving you a little love over there.
See,
But I do have to tell you, Unroll Me, fantastic. I love it. I love getting my 20 subscriptions, one email. I could scroll through real quick and look. I'm the dummy who can never find the unsubscribe button. It's in light gray with a gray background and like real bright. It's like, oh, choose this button over here, and that one takes me to buy something, and then I can't figure out what it is. Unroll Me was fantastic, absolutely. All right, so for my little news tip of the week, it would be remiss of us if we did not go over the passing of Prince. So just a couple of facts I found online that I thought were very, very interesting. First, Prince played guitar on Madonna's Like a Prayer. I had no idea. So I thought that was pretty cool. And again, listening to all the music now, I forget how underrated of a guitar player he was. I mean, because they focused on everything else.
Hey, Justin, this week it went viral. Check out the While My Guitar Gently Weeps. There's not a lot of Prince on YouTube, but just check out his performance. I mean, that guitar solo for the last 6 or 7 minutes, it makes me want to pick up my guitar again, and I haven't picked up a guitar since I was 12. But
do it now. Do it.
Right?
Could be one of the greatest songs ever. So if he could do Clapton well, I would absolutely love to hear that version. So I'll go check that out. I mean, he was great. He was great at the Super Bowl. But anyway, I digress. So he was a Jehovah's Witness, which I thought was interesting. Except the interesting part of that is he would actually go house to house doing the Jehovah Witness, whatever it is, trying to get people to go into that. So I thought that was pretty cool. That must have been interesting to open your door. And Prince is there, like, oh, come join the witnesses, come become a Wit-Eye or whatever the witnesses we call that.
You know what? That also came up again. Somebody was shown on an interview, and they were talking about all the humanitarian work that Prince was doing, and because of his religion, he wasn't able to talk about it. So this guy has come forward and said, he did so much that people aren't aware of, and he felt that it would have been remiss if it was never revealed. So he's now making an effort to let people know just what Prince was doing in certain urban communities that needed money.
Yeah, I did hear a story I was reading up about a bus driver who Prince is talking to, and he had some weird thing. You couldn't look at him in the eyes. And so he talked to this bus driver for the whole trip, and the bus driver is not looking at him. And then like a week later, and they had a whole conversation about motorcycles. And a week later, he gets called into the office, and the guy goes, we have to talk about you and Prince. And he goes, what happened? Did I look at him in the eyes? Like, what did I do? Prince made him a custom bike that was like every detail in their conversation that the guy said for his dream bike. I thought that was a really cool idea for him. Something that if I had just tons of money, that I would hope I would be doing. So the last fact that I saw that I thought very interesting is that Michael Jackson's Bad was meant to be a duet with Prince, but Prince was uncomfortable with the song's opening line, "Your butt is mine." He said, "Who's singing that to whom?" He goes, "Because you sure aren't singing that to me." Absolutely hilarious to me. Prince, quite the odd fella, but good Lord, could he play basketball and could he play the guitar and sing? So we're definitely going to miss him. And I mean, his records have shot through the roof, as all artists do once they pass along. So any final thoughts for our people out there? Andy, you first.
Yes. The kids are counting down. They know how many days are left. Teachers are counting down. We know how many days are left. We get paid exactly the same amount of money as we do on day one of the school year as we do on the last day of the school year. So earn your money. Don't roll out the ball. Don't hit play on the VHS. do your kids a favor and be the best teacher that you can and finish strong.
Nice.
VHS, Andy. What age are you?
I've got a laser disc. This is America. I have to translate. I've got a laser disc player in my office at school.
Mr. Enlick, what do you have to say?
Not much, but I do have this hat to share with everybody today. This is the greatest show on earth, so I'm going to finish with that. I'll roll it out today as we wrap up here. So,
Mr. LeBeau.
Justin cannot share his headband today, so I thought I'd pick up the slack. So, Joe Bailey, this is going to be for you.
Listen, Joe Bailey got me with this auto tweet once.
Joe Bailey, this is for you.
Mr. LeBeau, anything for us?
Well, for the younger members of the viewers out there, it's like a .mp4 or something like that. They don't know what VHS is, so I'm really starting to struggle that Andy's starting to show his age now.
We have to get some old dude on here.
We have.
A little diverse.
He's there, the other British guy. Oh. Genius. Okay, no, keep it all real, and I'm not counting down the days, but it's about 52 left.
20 here, 20 days left for me. Nice.
Enjoy.
As always, thank you for watching this, whether it's live and interacting, whether it's listening later. Time is our most precious commodity. The fact that you give us any of your time, whether it's a minute or the full whatever 30-something minutes the show will end up being, we appreciate it. So thank you very, very much. And have a good evening, a good day.
So let's finish properly. Come on, let's finish properly. We've got to do.
All right, what do you got? What do you got for us?
Ladies, I'm bouncing.
Goodbye. Thank you.